and welcome to Murphy's Garden, and in this video we'll be just looking at care of our box hedges. This is Buxus semivarin, and we've got lots of it in this garden. It's all over the place, and so it's really important just to get the care right to ensure that it stays really healthy and stays lush and green and free from box blight. So in this video I'll be reviewing a product called Top Buxus, which is meant for the treatment of box blight, but also more better use really is to use it in the preventative stages, so try and stop it happening in the first place. So the prevalence of box blight is absolutely rife in the UK, so it's really important just to take appropriate action, try and stop it coming into the garden in the first place.
Box hedging, or Buxus sempervirens, makes one of the very best evergreen low formal hedges. It is shade tolerant and can be used in lots of situations to create interesting designs or long pathways as a framing device. It also can be used for topiary, as it is easy to trim to shape and holds its shape well, such as box balls, pyramids or more intricate sculpted forms.
So the product that I'm going to use today is by a company called Top Buxus, and they produce this health mix, it's called, and this is used to, as I said, to treat box blight if you've already got box blight, but it's also better to use it to prevent it coming in the first place. So they do two different sizes. This is the one we had last year, and inside it's got 10 tablets, and this is one we've bought this year, and it's actually got 100 tablets. The price difference is so 10 tablets, this one is £13.50 currently on the website, and you can buy this, it's cheaper to buy it directly from the company, and 100 tablets is £72, so it is quite a bit of money. It's a bit of an investment, but obviously it is a lot cheaper than having to replace all the existing box you've got, because it does become quite valuable as it gets bigger, and it's something that you really want to look after. So the way it comes is inside, when you open it up, it's got strings of these tablets. There's 10 in a strip, and you should use one tablet needs to be diluted with 1 litre of water, and one tablet is enough to treat 10 metres squared of box. That's 10 metres squared for each of the tablets. So depending on how much box you've got, you might get away with just one of these little things. I mean, that did us last year, that was fine, but we do want to get better at treating it more often. Especially as we've got so much, and we've added a little bit more even this year. So the way it works is that you take one tablet and dilute it in 1 litre of water. So with my sprayer I diluted 4 tablets and did it in 4 litres of water. And the other thing is, the best time to use it is to use it on a day when it's not too hot, so ideally temperatures below 25 degrees Celsius. And if you can do it on a nice still day, then that's obviously better, because the stuff will go where you're spraying it and it won't blow off in the wind. And then the other thing obviously needs to be dry, so you don't want it to be raining and then it just washes off all the top buxus that you've put on it. So it has to be dry, still and not too hot. So the company recommend that you do 1 dose, and you should try and do it from March through to October, so that's the growing season of box. I'm a little bit late, it's April now and I haven't done it yet, so I'm just going to do it today. So you do it 1 dose today, and then a week later you should do a 2nd dose, and then thereafter you should try and do it every 6 weeks throughout the growing season. I haven't done it nearly as much as that in previous years, but I've tried to do it probably at least 3 times a year. But yeah, I think we'll try and do a little bit more. So next to me you can just see we've got these 2 box balls. This one's looking quite healthy, but this one's looking a little bit sickly at the front there. So I will treat that one along with all the others as well. So the first thing to do is to open the tablet and pop it into your sprayer. And as I said, I've done 4 tablets and mixed it with 4 litres of water. And then allow 10 minutes, and that just allows the tablets to fizz. They fizz away and they will dissolve, and just give the sprayer a little bit of a shake just to make sure it's evenly distributed. And then you can begin spraying. When you are spraying, try and spray all over the plant, so the front, the top and the sides of hedges, And if you can, try and, particularly like with the one like this, try and pay particular attention to bits that aren't looking quite so healthy. So if you've got a more sickly looking plant, put a little bit extra on that and try and spray inside the plant as well if you can. The top boxes works by giving the plants a spray of nitrogen, so that will improve their growth, green everything up. And then they also contain sulfur, which is a fungicide, and other properties as well. But works as a fungicide also. It will kill any fungal spores. So it works on box blight and other fungal diseases. So 10 minutes has gone by, so we're ready to go. So first thing to do is to put pressure into here. And then it's just a case of just adjusting the nozzle to, that's quite nice, just a nice fine spray. And what you're trying to do is, as well as just covering it, you want to try and do sort of inside as well if you possibly can. On all sides, be quite generous with it, you can't overdose. And if it goes on other plants, it doesn't really matter.
So, what is box blight? Box blight is an airborne fungal disease that specifically attacks box or boxwood plants. Although we cannot be certain of the original source of the disease, it reached the UK some 20 years ago, and by the late 1990s it had become quite widespread across Europe, devastating many gardens with its prevalence. Box blight produces resting spores, and these can remain viable for a long time without moisture or a host. This means that it is essential to maintain preventative gardening habits so that spores are not spread from plant to plant, from one area to another, or even from garden to garden. To prevent box blight, avoid planting box in areas of constant damp, shade or poor ventilation. Do not use overhead irrigation as spores are carried in water droplets. Keep all clipping tools clean, dipping blades in bleach or disinfectant between use. Remove all debris after clipping the plants. Keep the plants in good health by feeding and watering well. Plants in poor condition are much more susceptible to disease. Spraying the plants regularly can help detect problems early on. Initial signs of box blight are darkening of the leaf, often spreading out in a circular fashion until the whole leaf is infected. It is most notable or likely to occur on the top of a hedge rather than on its sides. If you do spot any signs, it's important to take immediate action. Number 1, remove all affected stems by cutting back hard. Be sure to disinfect tools before and after use. Cut back to healthy wood. Secondly, remove cuttings and any debris from under or around the plants. This removes infected material and also allows more air to circulate. Number 3, to strengthen and rejuvenate plants, add slow release fertiliser and water in. Water the plants regularly, watering from the base and not onto the leaves. Next, apply top boxes, which is high in nitrogen for strong green growth, and sulphur, which will address the fungal problems. So while I've been spraying these hedges, it's a really good opportunity to study your hedging really close up and notice any problems that are occurring very early on. And on this part of the hedging, I noticed there was a small area that just looked a little bit suspicious to me. So if I just pan back, so this area, there's some wood here, and that's we're going to be pleaching. We've got some lime trees here that we're going to be pleaching, so that's another video that we'll be doing. But this area of the box, there was just an area that was sort of defoliating. The leaves didn't look very healthy. So I sterilised my secateurs and I cut it back hard, and I removed quite a lot of it, gone a bit further than perhaps I needed to, but I just wanted to make sure I got it all. All the leaves were removed and they'll be disposed of in the green bin. Don't put those on the compost heap. And then finally I just gave the area a really good spray with the top boxes, and that will sort out any problems. And very quickly that bit of the hedge will regrow, and at this time of year it will grow very quickly and you won't even notice it. So far better to take immediate action on a small area than wait until you've got a bigger problem. And of course, just remember to sterilise your secateurs after use, just to avoid inadvertently spreading disease to other parts of the garden.
And I would also say, as soon as you spot any problems, cut out immediately. It's usually, we cut back box hedging around about May, but if you discovered, like I did here, this is up in the herbaceous borders, when I was mulching them in the winter, sort of in February time, I noticed there was a problem with this hedging, so I've cut it back, and it's regrowing already. You wouldn't even notice it anymore. So take action immediately and avoid problems in the future, particularly with winter weather, because the damp will spread the spores quite quickly. You will end up with a bigger problem in the spring. 2 days has gone by since we did the spraying with the top boxes, and I did use 10 tablets in total, so that translates to 100 metres squared of box hedging, which sounds about right really, because we have got a lot of it. It's not until you start spraying it do you realise quite how much we've got. So I will do another treatment in a week's time, so next weekend, and then the company recommend that you do it then every 6 weeks thereafter. So I worked out that that will probably be probably about 7 treatments throughout the year in total. So I've marked it on the calendar so I know exactly when to do it, and I'll remind myself to do it. And hopefully just taking that preventative action will keep the box looking fresh and green. And I'm not sure it's my imagination, but this hedge behind me looks absolutely luminous. I don't know whether it's my imagination or whether it has greened it up. We've had a nice bit of rain just overnight, and that combined with the treatment 2 days ago, I think it's looking really, really healthy, particularly this hedge here. So join us again in the next video. Bye for now.